I'm Margit Strout, and this is Cooking for Your Health. We're going to be using all kinds of WIC foods to make some alternatives to Hamburger Helper. Now, I am doing a little more cooking, but they're not hard recipes, I promise. Okay, the first one we're going to do is probably the original Hamburger Helper. You can make this a number of other ways, and I'll talk about that. I wanted to have as many of the WIC foods in it, so I didn't do the canned cream of mushroom soup. So all the vegetables that we're doing, including garlic, are WIC foods. And what we need to do is, I'm going to put in this pan, oops, I lost it, some oil. Now, this is a fairly large cast iron pan. I don't know, those of you who have watched me before know I like cast iron. I'm going to put 1 onion, chopped up, and 2 cups of mushrooms. Now, onions and mushrooms are WIC foods. And in a little bit, I'm going to put about 3 tablespoons of garlic, and that's about a bulb. And it's not a tiny bulb, it's a good size bulb. I'm going to take this all over to the stove, and I'm going to saute it till the onions are clear and the mushrooms are wilted. Okay, let me go over there. After the onions are translucent and the mushrooms are done, you're going to add a teaspoon of paprika, and you want to make sure that you get the sweet paprika. Unless you want it spicy, then you can always get the spicy paprika. And it says a teaspoon, but I'm always heavy-handed. And then 2 teaspoons of dry mustard. And again, you want to have this, be generous. A little bit of Worcestershire, and you're supposed to add dry parsley, but I like fresh better. So I'm going to just cut this up with a pair of scissors. Now, parsley winters over nicely. You can plant it and keep it in your backyard, and you just chop it up like this. The kids could even do this. I'm sure they could do it with, little kids' scissors. Might be fun for them. It's always fun to have kids in the kitchen. Parsley is not a WIC food that I know of. I was actually surprised garlic was. And I'm putting more than a tablespoon because fresh takes up more room because it's got the fluid in it. So I'm putting, 3/4 of a cup. I'm going to leave a little out for garnish. Oops. Oh well. Okay. We're going to add this, and then we're going to add our beef, and we're going to put in flour and make sure that the flour coats all the vegetables and the meat. It's making a roux, as we talked before, and it's going to help thicken everything. After that, we're going to add the broth and the sour cream. While the broth and the sour cream are kind of thickening up for the gravy, I'm going to cook the noodles. The water is getting ready to boil right now. Now I'm going to add my mustard, salt, and paprika. Here's the Worcestershire. I love saying Worcestershire. And the parsley. I'll stir that up a bit. I'll go get the meat. We're going to add that, and then we're going to add the flour. I cooked the ground beef beforehand. You can cook the ground beef in the mushrooms and all, but I felt it's a little easier to save time. Also want to say something about ground beef. When you're buying it, people think you buy the least expensive by the pound. If you buy the more expensive, you have less fat and you have more protein. And you end up with more. Now we're going to coat this all. I'm going to add the broth. And the sour cream and yogurt mixed together. You do low-fat sour cream and fat-free yogurt, and you've saved a lot of fat, and you still have this wonderful flavor. I'm going to let this cook a little bit till it cooks down. This is just about the right consistency. You don't want to have it too thick, and you don't want to have it too thin, and it's cooked down a good bit. As soon as that pasta's done, we'll put these two together and then we'll make our last dish. Okay, next, while we're waiting for the stroganoff to cook off the rest of the way, we are going to make what I call is pizza hamburger helper, or it could be lasagna. But I figure kids like the pizza stuff a little bit better. I have got some onions and some peppers. I sliced them in the food processor. You can just cut them up. I've got them coated with some oil. I'm going to put in some more garlic. Garlic's always good. And actually, I was reading somewhere that garlic actually has some healing stuff. So it's those onions, garlic, things like that. Everything has good stuff in it if they're vegetables. I'm going to put this on the stove, saute it until it's clear, and then I'm going to add some crushed tomatoes, a little bit of tomato paste, and some Italian seasoning. After that, I'll kind of talk about adding the meat and cooking your noodles. There, everything's translucent. You don't want to overcook vegetables. That way they retain more of their nutrients. Now I'm going to add my beef. You can also make these, pretty much any of these recipes, vegetarian. Mix that in a little bit. I'm going to add a big can of crushed tomatoes. You could use sauce if you wanted to. These are Wick Foods. The tomatoes. I'm not sure if tomato paste is a Wick Food, but it's relatively inexpensive, and you're using half of a small can. If you want to make more of this, you're kind of making a spaghetti sauce. You can make more, and then it freezes really well. Ow. Be careful though, you can burn yourself. I'm going to throw in my herbs and let this cook for just a few minutes, and then it'll be ready to mix with our noodles by the time the noodles are done. I'm going to try to get as much of the water out of the macaroni as I can. I didn't cook these till they're totally done because they're going to cook some more in the oven. Pour it in a pot or a bowl. Get this out of the way. And then I'm going to put the sauce on it. And I'm going to try to do this without making a mess or burning myself. Here, there we go. Now, I'm going to mix this up. I have got my 9.5 by 13 pan. You can do this in a larger casserole if you want to. I'm going to spray it, just because I don't want to have stuff stuck. Pour it in. Oops. didn't get it so well mixed up, but it'll mix up. You can layer this if you want to. Let's see if we can get it mixed up a little bit better. I don't think anyone wants just plain macaronis. Well, I guess you should check the bowl better. There we go. If you want to, you can add more vegetables to this, unlike what you'd add to pizza. You could add mushrooms or olives, broccoli, all kinds of good stuff. Now I'm going to slide this in the oven. And then we'll fix up the stroganoff and then we'll make our last dish.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
That looks so yummy. It is smelling so good. The garlic, onion. Now I've put my noodles in a pretty bowl. And I'm going to dish some of this over the top. This is a really good dish for a cold night. And you're going to mix it up a little bit. And I'm going to take some of my fresh parsley that I didn't cut up so much and put it on top for a wee bit of color.
The W&C Farmers Market is located on a 36-acre site overlooking the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains and Biltmore Estate. It is located in Asheville, North Carolina, which is within a 2-hour drive of a tremendous volume of horticultural products. There are 3 kinds of produce markets: wholesale, retail, and farmers. The W&C Farmers Market has a blend of all 3. We are located in the heart of the apple and tomato production areas and close to the South Carolina peach production area. You can find the whole alphabet of fruits and vegetables at the W&C Farmers Market, from apples to zucchini, as well as mountain crafts, jams and jellies, ornamental plants, flowers, baked goods, and honey. The market is a wonderful place to find farm-fresh, vine-ripened, and tree-ripened produce at a reasonable price. W&C Farmers Market is conveniently located off Interstate 40 at exit 47 and off Interstate 26 at exit 33 in Asheville. Our address is 570 Brevard Road. Whether you are looking to stretch your food budget, entertaining friends, or family, please come out and visit the market and make it a regular part of your place to shop for fresh produce.
Now for the last one. This is enchiladas. You start with some canned tomatoes, and again, these are a wick food. A little bit of corn, and you can do canned or frozen. Some black beans, If you don't care for black beans, you could put pinto beans, whatever kind you want to. Mix that up. You can add some onions and peppers, or not, depending on what you want to do. You're going to add some sour cream and yogurt, half and half. Now the recipe that's on the website will have the peppers and onions on it, but I wanted to make it a little bit simpler right here. And then you put a little bit of taco seasoning. I could not, for the life of me, find taco seasoning at the grocery store, so I put chili seasoning. It's close. If you want to make your own, it's usually chili, cumin, little basil, and some salt. Now, I'm going to take some corn tortillas. Again, a WIC food. You can take corn, or if you want to make them with the whole wheat tortillas, another WIC food. You're going to put just a little bit of shredded chicken in, and I forgot a spoon. We're going to spoon some of this yummy sauce on it. And you're going to roll that up to the best of your ability. And for those of you who have seen the show with the crepes, you could even make crepes with cornmeal, which would be kind of fun. And this is easy to put together. Kind of put them a little bit. Oops, doesn't want to behave itself. Now I'm using 4 tortillas. You can double this recipe, triple this recipe, make as many as you want to. Now the other recipe that I've got prepared, I did put the peppers and onions in it. There we go. And I'm going to put the last of this on top, just to kind of make it a little more interesting. Kind of mush them down so they take up the whole pan. Put about a cup of low-fat cheese. I got the pre-grated, but if you get the WIC cheese, you can grate it yourself. And we're going to pop this in the oven, and then we're going to try some food.
Visit your local tailgate market and fall in love with the freshest, best tasting food around. Find your farmer at mountainmarkets.com.
Are you going on a big trip out of the country? Already have your passport and your bags packed? Not so fast. Have you had your travel vaccinations yet? It's recommended to get your travel vaccines 4 to 6 weeks before you leave. There are 3 types of vaccines for travel: routine, recommended, and required. So be sure that your family gets the correct vaccine at the proper time before your trip. Visit www.ncdc.gov/travel to learn more about health and safety tips when traveling out of the country. And enjoy your vacation. This message brought to you by the Buncombe County Department of Health. Visit buncombecounty.org/health or call 828-250-5000 to schedule your travel vaccination today.
Here we have the pizza. Here we have the chicken enchilada. Now, Hamburger Helper, I went on their website and I was so surprised by the number of recipes and variations they have. So the chicken enchilada went under their same name, and this is the stroganoff. I think I'm going to taste some stroganoff, and this is really, as I said, really good for a cold night, and you want to have something a little colorful with it. I'll take a wee bit of enchilada, and as I said, I put the peppers in this one, and in this recipe, I put some olives. All right. Now the stroganoff is going to be hot, hot, hot. Oh my word. May I die and go to heaven. This, I didn't get many noodles in it. Oh, well, see if I can get a delicate bite. Oh, enchilada. Really good. Sorry. And now the pizza or lasagna, whichever you want to call it. That's really good too. I hope you will try some of these recipes. They're yummy. They're not too hard to make. They're a lot healthier for you than the Hamburger Helper. Sorry, I had to swallow that. And they're less expensive because you can use your WIC foods to make them. So enjoy. If you want more information, please go to the Buncombe County website, buncombecounty.org, and all the recipes are posted. And remember, we care about you.